Okay. Hey, Bill and Gunnan, welcome to Blacklaw Tribal Edition right across the planet today. We're doing a live show from the Sovereign Yidindji Government headquarters here in the city of Gimoy. And with me today via the Yidindji Bummer channel on Facebook and SYG Media on YouTube. And of course, if you're listening to this via the radio, it's through the National Indigenous Radio Service inside of Australia. Joining me today is the Minister for Police and Minister for Cultural Affairs, Bumi of Gimoy Borough. And of course, the Attorney General for the Sovereign Yidindji Government, Ganyara Yalmabara. And today we're talking about a few things. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on the show today. And how's everyone feeling?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, another beautiful day in paradise, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the way. Hey, listen, today we thought we'd talk about a number of things. It's going to be a short show. We decided to go with a shorter format because we've been notified that people's bandwidth, they use up a lot of their internet usage allotment with their plans. Their data is going pretty quick with an hour-long show. So we thought we'd go a little bit shorter and to the point, but we still want to answer some of the questions that you may put forward over the next couple of weeks and to see where we're going there. Ganyara, I guess one of the things that we're really excited about is, and there's been a positive response, is the mediation training that the Yidindji, through your government department, the Yidindji courts will build that foundation. That's a very exciting idea and concept.
Oh, look, absolutely important. We have suffered at the hands long enough, at the hands of the government of being uneducated, so to speak, being held back. So yeah, putting this out there, and there's been quite a number of people put their hand up to attend this course, which is really fantastic. This is the sort of stuff we need to get our people educated, and actually all the tribal nations need to get their people educated the same way. This is not only just mediation, but this is breaking ground for things like negotiation, for diplomacy, the whole box and dice. And this is where we need to get up to speed sooner rather than later. Now, everyone's talking about treaty. We need to get our skills into place. Do we go to a treaty hot-headed, so to speak, and wanting to argue and fight and squabble, or do we go there with some skills learned from courses like this? How do we handle ourselves with Uncle here, with the police minister? How do your officers go out and handle the everyday occurrences on country? They've got to be able to mediate their way through these problems. So it's not just judicial side of it, it's everyday use of it. So in the development of our courts, we are heading towards this of having fully qualified mediators that are recognised from courses within the UN member state world. You know what I mean? These people that are putting these courses on are very highly accredited people. They're not just the average Joe Blow, and they are accredited and very well educated within the Commonwealth of Australia, for example, of other UN member states, for example. So yeah, this is getting great. It's received great attention. There are quite a number of people from Yidindji that are going to attend, but also it's open to other nations. You know, the neighbouring nations, everyone. So yeah, this is really good. It's going to be well received and very well attended.
Well, I think so. We've already had some interest from neighbouring tribes and other foreign persons, let's say that. I think it's very important that when we look at a nation building, maintaining peace on one's territory is vital, and that was done in a tribal sense. The court was strong, the law is strong. It's still the same today. Walpa Muramu, Walpa Yidindji, Walpa everything is very strong here. And Bumi, that's something that you can certainly say is that peace is very much appreciated in a society.
Yeah. Excuse me. Bit of throat infection, I think. Yeah, well, coming back what Muruma said there, like that we can relate to our own people, like, you know, outside of Yidindji and especially in town today, that we got them from far and wide Aboriginal people, and I had to, when I'm on the road, I talk to the other Yidindji about that you can't be a gang leader, you're going to be an elder to talk to your people today and how to go about it, you know. We start hammering them, you know, good. But coming back to, like just now, if I'm going off track, but to say it from my heart that Yidindji is a big nation, it's a big tribe, so we had to split up, but we still talk our language, do our dance, and I go into schools and the teachers, they want me to put a meeting place. How the old people have done it before, you know, that you can get through to them, and they'll be sitting down with me, and that's really good. See, the Yidindji people, like I say, that as an elder, you know, sitting there, I'm seeing things now. Can't you hear? And Muramu, and I'm going to walk with them all the way now. That they need me and I need them now, because that's the main important thing, that I've got somebody, you know. And even the Hatton and lot, and Gordon Bell and all the other lot that see us three sitting down here now, we need to step forward now and, you know, go ahead now, because that's what we need in our community, you know. We're not saying this and that and that and this. We want to hang the harrow straight now, that we are the traditional owner of this land, you know. And we've got to have something to show the wider community. Because on my walk with, like, white and this and that and black, especially, like, I'll say this, like, I'm like a minister where my ministering is to the white, you know, but tell them about our life, you know, and that's really good, you know.
Well, thank you very much, and that's very important that you reconfirm that, because there is that need to have all the different clan groups involved and to keep and maintain the peace. And Ganyara, the Yidindji courts is certainly an apparatus to make sure that everything's straight hip hop. In that we want to give everyone a fair go, but also nip problems in the bud if there's something that's brewing.
Yeah. Look, it's like every society. There has to be a system of rules and in place to keep things sort of humming along pretty good on the straight and narrow. Things like drugs, for example. What do we do with them? How do we handle them sort of issues? Crimes, crimes against our people, crimes committed against property. How do we handle all these issues? And this is the important part, and that's why this mediation course is so important from our point of view. Start to get our people skilled up on things like negotiation. I feel a bit sorry for Queensland Police Service officers. How do they handle the people on drugs, that are high on ice or whatever? They've got to have skills that most people would never even think about. And this is so important. We've got to get our people up to speed on this, get them skilled up on the same sort of things. How do you negotiate with someone on ice or on drugs? How do you then get them into a court? How does the court handle them sort of people? How do the Yidindji police officers handle our people on drugs when they, look, there's going to be good and bad in every society. So we've got to make allowances for this, and we've got to get our people skilled on it. So important, but it's not only for our people, this is for all people, because I find this lacking in most society around the world, is this ability to go and settle with your neighbour first before you drag it into a court. Mediate the problem, slow it down, sort it out. We shouldn't be in court all the time. It's because the people don't have these skills that everyone should have to resolve problems before they get to that level.
Well, not only that, I think it's more also that now the Yidindji government is creating that space for that particular process. Whereas if we're having a court system, then we've got to do it with uncle here and under a tree or tribal way. But now there's this other option to do it in a, let's say, what people would say, a civilized manner, or somewhere where it's under man-made structure, similar to an Australian court. But rather take it to an Australian court if it's a Yidindji specific matter, then there's the ability to have it heard in a tribal capacity, or in a state apparatus, a legal mechanism that's created by the Yidindji government. So this is a very, very important thing now. Whatever Australia has, the Yidindji nation can create, and any other nation on this tribal continent that we're talking about now. So, the Yidindji people can create their own courts and their own governments. The same way Aranda or Jampurong or all these true tribal nations can do what Australia has done, and that through a treaty would connect.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is where we've got to bring this all together. So we are creating an identical thing to what Australia has, except the one main difference is one has consent to be here, the other one doesn't. The Australian courts are for Australian citizens only, or other citizens of the UN member states that have a treaty with Australia. But our courts, Yidindji, is the only one that have true and correct consent from the original tribal owners and the original tribal nation to be present upon the territory of Yidindji. And this is the important part, isn't it, Uncle? This is Yidindji country.
That's right, yeah.
So this is a court and a police force set up with true consent this time for the people that are offending the laws of the Yidindji nation. And look, technically, it encompasses all Australians, because they've entered our territory without consent, without the okay from the old people. So they are technically in our territory. Yeah. So they should be subject to our authority and law.
That's right, yeah.
We're not powerful enough yet to enforce the law upon all Australians, which is the reason why we're pushing Australia towards a treaty, to let them be here with consent. But we've got to set up these things, call courts. We had systems of dispute resolution going back many years. That was all in place. We had systems of decision making and authority. That was all in place. That included things like courts and police. It really was. The court has to be there to take over what the police officer can't do. The police officer there is to ensure that the law is being observed, but the court is there to enforce the law itself. Yeah. So this is the important part. But things like this mediation course, I'm glad to see it's received such attention, that it is getting well received by the Yidindji society, but also the other nations that are around us. And also I see it's getting a lot of attention overseas, you know, internationally, which is a huge thing. Why haven't others done this yet? We're not too sure why, but we'll lead the way if we got it. That's
right, and I think it's a very important time to congratulate Gilgal Yalmabara and the Yalmabara estate for really being proactive in a number of things. And I know that they're having regular meetings to discuss law and order, to discuss housing, for example, health, all these things, and land management. That's really important. Last week, we had the pleasure of travelling up the mountain range to have a look at certain housing, and that's something that's very important for the Yidindji people.
Yeah.
And you were very impressed with what you saw there?
Yep. Yeah, I was just glad to see Savannah motel there, that how it's been run and nice and clean. There's about an acre and a half there, and I'm looking for a place in Edmonton or near Girrawanda there, White Rock, or a place there for my people, you know. Where we was in the Housing Commission, we were paying all our money to them and we never got anything back. But getting something like this now, where Gunjan Murumur, we was there, and I need something for the Yidindji people down here. It's in halfway for the Yarrabah, up Atherton, down Babinda Way in Cairns, Mossman, and I want something that I can see for us now, that on our land, and instead of right out in the Mulga, you know, like they used to have it up Mariva Way and all there is Verdon, but down here where we are now, it'll be good for our people, you know. They come from Yarra, well, they can come in there, and they'll be buying that place as they're paying their rent, you know, all what they ever pay, and something going to that, and they'll be at ease, because we'll be there at all times, and you know, there should be a lift now that try us, you know. Well, we've been waiting for that trying too long, that now we're stepping in now, that we need it now. We need it, you know, for the Yidindji people. Because like we say in the right sense, that like, you know, we do our dance and our language and all these places that we're on now, from it's all Yidindji language, you know. And I really want to see these things now. Yeah, I've got these two here. They might be like a winger or whatever they're going to be for me, and which they are. That I have to see the government too about those lands, and I really need it now, you know. And so like I say all the time, I come through, and I really want to see it, you know. So a lot of people ask me in school, the teacher says, when this thing going to let go, you know. And, I said, I hope it can come true sooner or later. But yeah, get Uncle or his people, you know. And other lots can follow on suit then, and we can help their tribe, you know. Or they can come down in an office now. There's three of us, you know, you see us, that we can support you. Like that bloke set up there where he runs that place there. He said, if you three of us, if you need, call me and I'll come. So that's what we need, you know, from the government too. We see your letter, we see what you got here, we'll come up and visit you, you know. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the power of having your government. You can instruct, you can do things, but it is building them, and it's not going to, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, they say. And even though the Yidindji nation is here and all the buildings exist here, just that governance side, but also the way of thinking on how sovereignty, you know, can exist on the territory, for example, and what it is. is a very important process. Ganyara, once again, I think it's important that we acknowledge that housing is a priority for the Yidindji nation, in that there are many elders and people that require housing, and it has to be said that they haven't really been looked after.
Oh, absolutely not.
As a priority.
No, absolutely not. Look, that issue got raised at the last sitting the other day there for Tableland. Now, Gilgal is the Minister for Aged Care, and that issue got raised very quickly in the sitting. So it's been an atrocious period. The last 150 years has been atrocious for the Yidindji people. They've been treated worse than what you can imagine you treat your enemies as. This is just terrible. Besides killing them and trying to exterminate them out of country, then they got treated worse than dogs. Just lower class citizens than ever. This is just lower than low, and it's getting to the stage now where that has been reversed and enough is enough. So the Tableland government has officially authorised a couple of people within the Department of Surveyor General to go forward and to earmark some land, both up on Tableland, very, very close to the heart of Tableland country, for something like this facility for housing. It'll be a gated community of Pacific 4 Yidindji people, not only old people, but they'll be well catered for in there, but also the younger generations that are struggling to find housing, because the white fellas, when they come in, have basically taken over all the good stuff and just said to the Yidindji people, "There's the door, go and see what you can make of the crumbs," which was terrible.
It is, and at the end of the day, we're doing something about it now. It's been earmarked as a priority. The thing that's quite important from our point of view is to just remain focused on those things like that. Yes, we want to do this quickly, and I think there's going to be a few surprises coming up in the next few years, if not next year. And already, like you mentioned earlier in the program, there have been certain nations and entities from international, that is not on this continent, from elsewhere, that have contacted the SYG and, how are you guys doing this? Why did you do it this way? And we're doing it this way because, as we've stated many times before in this program, it is about, if it's on your territory, it belongs to you. If you can get that in your mind, and that as the role of kings in the history of kings is to actually have to maintain law and order and peace on the territory, and you hear that those stories in Europe, elsewhere, but also even in the Holy Scriptures, that Jesus is described as a king, for example, and he is also the Prince of Peace. So in that sense, that's where we're heading with it. We want an actual a peaceful place. We want the Yidindji nation and the Yidindji territory to be the #1 go-to place in the world in terms of how a government deals with people, families, industrial relations, foreign affairs, environment, housing, all these solutions. And that's a very important thing to remember, is that, yes, we're doing that, but there are a lot of people here, living here, that have those skills already, that may want to become part of the Yidindji project and the Yidindji nation and assist. And we're seeing that happening now. So Ganyara, once again, it is coming down to that, but the world is beginning to learn who the Yidindji nation are, and its territory and its intention. That's very important.
Well, that is how you could say you're recognised globally. Now, I always come back to this. There are a couple of theories of recognition. One is you can say we're back, we're there. That's the declaratory theory of recognition. We're here. But there's no obligation for anyone to look at you. But it's when they start dealing with you, like they're doing now. They start from the Commonwealth of Australia, when it was acknowledged that the Yidindji cabinet was present. Meeting with foreign diplomats. This is all part of the constitutive theory of recognition. They are dealing with us now. And there have been, in recent times, quite a number of I suppose, international leaders of international countries that are foreign to us, that are foreign to the Commonwealth of Australia, that are wanting to interact with the Yidindji government. So you've got to create this body for it to interact with. And that's exactly what the Yidindji government is. It's the creation of the identities that are separate to the UN member state called the Commonwealth of Australia. And we require or we request that other Indigenous nations have a look at what we're doing, see what we're doing and why we're doing it, and then see if it fits their place. See if it fits with the US, fits with Canada, fits with the UK, fits with Ireland, fits with anywhere.
Well, and not only that, how can we improve it? Because, we don't know everything, but the thing is, the most important thing is having a go. And along the way, you'll learn certain things and go out and do it with confidence. This is, I think, Uncle, you told those mob that, tell that story about you were talking to the younger people about, well, you fellas, your ancestors been walked this place. This is your place.
Well, that's what I tell my mob. I said, Yidindji lot, like the old people here, they would make that track finish, that walk, that this is their home here. And you keep going and don't worry about where you are because this is your home, I tell them a lot, well, Yarra will be still there, but your really home is here where your old people would sleep and walk and hunt, You can go up Atherton, you can go to Mbabinda, but you're in that area, And as an Yidindji elder, I want to thank you guys, family, that I got Murama with me and give me a good push. And Gundjeree, they gave me a good push. Like I said, I want to rewind, I was going to give up. That I had nobody for help me, that. But now I got good help and I can keep on, like you say, firing it in a good way, Like if I said something that I shouldn't be saying, well, forgive me. But to the Yidindji lot, that we need to see it now in this big town called Gimoy, the really place for, can't you say, Gimoy. And all these places here, it belongs to us. The Yidindji people, like Gundjeree said, that we've been go through a lot. And even all your other Aboriginal people, you need to be recognised. And I hope one day all the Aboriginal elders that you can send us to you, or you, when you come in Cairns, come look for us, That you'll see us on now, this, what do you call this thing now? That on this
Yidindji Bama TV.
Yidindji Baba TV, then. That we get together and have a good talk and keep on trying to build something up, Like build ourselves, but we need to see a place where we can talk to people. Yeah.
Well, that brings an end to the program. We're just going to finish off with a few things. Just congratulations to the Yidindji government special envoy to Latin America for organising a very big event, which was to actually sit. We've got an invitation from the president of Venezuela recently to participate in a Zoom conference, and this is a screenshot of that particular event, and the Yidindji nation transmitted certain information there in terms of speeches and a video, and it's just getting out there, and once you start building this, then people will find out who you are and want to know a little bit more about you. And once again, this is it's not just because of us, but there's a whole nation behind this, and far more importantly, there's the big fella in the sky, the Great Spirit, and that is the creator of the Yidindji, everything on here, the land, the sun, the whole lot. So in saying that, we say, Go Baragalanunda, may God's peace be upon you, wherever you are watching this program. Take care, God bless, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining Yidindji Bama.